Welcome back to the Kyle Hartman Project, everybody. Before I start episode 20, I just wanted to take another second to really thank all of you for tuning into this show. It means you're ready. I know I've said this before, but I need to say it again. You are ready for change. You're listening. You're using this passive podcast to listen to and to experience different views on certain things. And this episode, let me tell you, is going to be one for the books. I have a professional race car driver, an Air Force veteran, a featured Tedx speaker, and a CEO and founder of a biotech company coming on the show today. So stay tuned, buckle up, and enjoy the ride. And once again, thank you so much for tuning back in to another great episode of the Kyle Hartman Project.
Is that backpack boy?
Welcome to the Kyle Hartman Project, episode 20. I hope everybody is having a great day. Very, very excited to be with you guys today and to have this guest on my show. I'm featuring an incredible guest, so listen closely to this. Today's guest features a woman who was born and raised in the state of Washington. She's the founder and CEO of a biotech company called BooShoot that she started in her garage in 1998. She proudly served in the United States Air Force as a medic and was even stationed in Panama. Not only did she do all of these things, she has a bachelor's in science and a master's with honors in science as well. She has published many peer-reviewed scientific papers. She's been featured in several press articles, and she's even been a featured TEDx speaker. As if this resume wasn't enough, she decided that she wanted to pursue her racing passion. She became the first female driver in her debut season in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo of North America. She also competed in other series such as the Red Bull Global Rallycross Lights, the Ferrari Challenge, Jim Russell's F3 Series, and BMW Pro 3. She is now a new member of Warriors on Track, which is the nonprofit that I featured in episode 12 with my friend Tom. So it's really, really exciting to see her become a part of that. She also helps with another nonprofit that helps students with self-esteem, and it's called Manadoob. Without further ado, Jackie, it is my absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Everybody, I hope that you guys give Jackie your utmost attention this episode because she has some amazing innovations that she's been able to develop. Jackie, thank you so much for coming on the show. How is your Saturday morning going so far?
Well, thank you for having me, Kyle. My Saturday is wonderful. Thank you.
That's good. So let's dive right in. You started a company out of your garage back in 1998, and from what I've done research on, it solely revolves around bamboo. So I want you to kind of give us where your company's at right now. What is it about? How did you discover what you discovered?
Yeah, great. Thank you. I literally, when I was a kid, literally like 11, 12 years old, I had this vision. My father always planted bamboo in our yard in California, Cupertino. And I played in it when I was a child, and I sort of had this vision when I was a kid about bamboo. So I ventured off to college, and once I got out, almost the first thing I did was start my company in my garage with the idea of trying to find ways to use that resource to, innovate and probably more than anything relieve pressure on, for instance, old growth harvest on forests. But, long journey from here to there. And today the company is working with multiple patents and lots of new innovation around that space, but I would say same line of idea, but really innovating now on newer and greater ideas around the fiber resource.
So was it a passion for say, making the earth a better place originally? Is that kind of where you started looking at the benefits of bamboo? Because from what I've taken, bamboo uh, sequesters like 4 times more carbon dioxide than your average tree, bundle of trees, and it produces more oxygen, right? So was that where that kind of came from initially?
Well, I think I've been a warrior since I was like a tiny kid. And yeah, I've always really thought towards, I've had a really big eye around the environment since I was really young. And I've always been really affected by my surroundings and nature. And grew up in a generation where we sort of played outside. We didn't have necessarily the reliance on some of the cool cell phones and games and things that are happening today. But yeah, so bamboo is a massive environmental carbon sink. Unlike trees, when you cut trees down, they sort of release CO2 when they begin to decay or what's left in the forest harvest process, whereas bamboo locks all that within its root system, which is not, it does not decay, it does not go away, and plus the magnitude of productivity of the plant compared to forest harvest is there's really no other resource of compare. So it's the benefits of it are tremendous. It's just bucking the tide of a multi-billion-dollar timber industry to bring an alternative fiber to the world is a very interesting prospect and has obviously been a lifelong passion.
Definitely. And I can tell everybody that's listening that might not know as much about you as I do. I can feel your passion completely when I hear you speak and when I've seen you speak and just looking into the things that you've researched yourself. Now, with all the patents that you have, that was kind of a big question I had too. You are going up against some pretty big whales, I would assume, in that timber industry and within certain paper industries. How is it going to look for you in the next, say, 10 to 20 years? Are you going to have more help? Are there going to be more companies that evolve and turn up that are kind of on the same mission as you? Or are these patents kind of leaving you as the, the tip of the spear, if you will?
Well, glass half full. I mean, companies all right now want to do the right thing. McDonald's just this week announced that they would like to replace all of their packaging by 2025 with either 100% recycling or alternative fiber. Right now, currently, what they're using is 10%.
Wow.
And you can look at companies. I think a lot of companies are attempting to do those things, but in reality, I mean, you could take a Starbucks cup, for example. Nobody recycles the cups, and they have a coating on them, and it takes those cups 30 years to break down in a landfill. So the idea here is to get an alternative fiber with the right quality to be able to produce these products at a competitive price, because change is important, but it has to make sense financially to large corporations. So
right.
I think it's coming. This is a complicated story, and when you talk about alternative fiber, the way that trees are utilized is through pulp mills. Pulp mills, we cut trees down, we send them to pulp mills, they grind them up, they put them in water and chemicals, and out spits fiber, and it's kind of a dirty process.
It's a long process too, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, so pulp mills, being as large as they are, if you can imagine, if you asked a pulp mill to all of a sudden stop what they're doing and then take a little pile of bamboo to throw through the pulp mill to create, new fiber, they're not going to do that. So one of the challenges was to invent a way to pulp bamboo and get away from the pulp mill infrastructure. And by doing so, and that's been done, that's something I worked on and have been able to overcome. And by doing that, we're now, for the very first time, I think, in history of fiber, making a true alternative fiber available to companies who have targets like McDonald's.
Wow. So you have been able to It almost seems like they almost had a chance to take on what you had to offer, and then when you realized that was going to be a greater struggle, you kind of just developed your own system to handle it. I think the way that's.
Well, I mean, I did. I had the fortune of actually engaging in a very large company, a company that buys more pulp than any other company in the world, to replace fiber in their product. But what I guess we ran up against the reality that pulp mills were not going to adopt or allow an alternative fiber run in their system.
Right. At least yet.
At least yet. And yeah, I think these are little steps. I mean, maybe I'll be, maybe by the time I'm, in a wheelchair on my, who knows?
You're a serious pioneer and an innovator, though, and I think that is, honestly, you're kind of the first through the door, in my opinion, just with the whole market. And like you said, you're going to run into most of the problems that, if there are companies that will follow you in the future, they're probably not going to see half the problems that you faced initially. And so I commend you for tackling the challenges. And it seems, you make it look so easy when I look at your history and just the company and how things are going. But deep down, I know that you're changing industry standards. So it's going to be challenging. And that's, honestly, I'm glad that you just brought that up and that kind of reached that point, because that's one of the main focuses I had to bringing you on as a guest was I want people that are listening to realize, like, you can go out and do whatever it is you want to do. Even if there's challenges, you just got to find ways to face those challenges. I got to turn the tables a little bit here. I know I'm going to have a lot of listeners that are really interested in what you do for fun, or, as far as your passion goes. And for both of us, I think our passions are auto racing. So let's turn the tables. What struck you one day with your already really busy, really crazy life to just pick up and become a race car driver?
Pretty funny, Kyle. I mean, I was running a really big company, and pretty much that's what I did. And somebody bought me a car experience, and I remember looking at that going, I'm never going to do that, because I drive 15 minutes from my home to my office and back every day. And that was the extent of my love of cars, I suppose. Long story short, I went and did it, and I loved it, and I signed up for the advanced version, and I liked it. And I think couple of the instructors thought, you ought to think about this. So the next thing you know, I went to Skip Barber Racing School. Wow. and I had a blast, and I raced, they had the Mazdas, and it was so much fun. And I guess the next thing I stepped into was a Ferrari 458, if you can imagine that. And my first car race in my lifetime was Daytona.
Wow. So, on the big super speedway? Yes. Wow. Oh my gosh, that would be intense.
Yeah, I've never been on banking in my life.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know Daytona, if you literally stand on the turn, at the bottom of the turn, the wall and the top of the turn are way above you. So when she says she's never been on banking, she's talking literally serious banking that that you're flying across.
Yeah. And it was amazing. And then I had the good fortune to hop in a F3 with what was the Jim Russell School, and then I got a call to consider racing the Lamborghini Huracan, and I did. And it was actually a great year, because I think my first race I climbed on the podium, so it was a fantastic year.
I think was that the picture that I saw of you in Spain on the podium?
Well, Spain was the world finals, and I did well there. Wow. I think my first race of the series was Road America. Okay. A track I love, and I just have a passion for that track. It has the rhythm I identify with, and so I did really well in my first race there.
That's really exciting. We're looking forward to, I'm looking forward to finding you whenever you're making it out this way again. I know we have a couple tracks in California that I'm hoping you're going to make it to. I think Laguna Seca may be one of those. But I definitely plan on following you throughout pretty much the rest of your life, I guess. I was going to say the racing career, but I'm very interested in everything you have going on. So let's talk about, you dabbled with Global Rallycross for a season, I believe. How did that treat you compared to, let's say, like, you know, the Lamborghini and the Ferraris?
I completely am in love with the rally car. I actually had a kind of a short season because I had a family issue, but for me, it's I think some of my favorite racing, and I would love to go back and do a couple one-off races this year. And the cars are incredible. I remember the first time I jumped the car, we did a full road race in Fort Lauderdale in the A1A, and it was the first time I'd ever jumped a car. And it was just, I mean, it really flies, and those cars are amazing. And you've got a heel toe downshift to match your revs. You've got a huge e-brake. You've got a lot going on. And so
it's a whole monster. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a monster. And if you're not really, lightning fast with all your footwork and your handwork, and because it's such a short sprint race, you sort of lose, right? And it's a wreckers and checkers kind of deal. So it's a hugely amazing race.
I actually watched an interview that you were in after you actually just raced and experienced jumping for the first time, and it was funny because I watched you and you were just like, I took the jump and holy crap, I was there. I was in the air and there was no wheels on the ground, and it was incredible. And I remember laughing like, yes, I love hearing stories of the first time in a new car or just experiencing a new style of racing, because racing to me is just, it's not, what the general populace would assume. It's not just getting in any car and just driving it like you would think you drive your normal car. There's a whole lot going on.
Well, no, and look at the demographic. My first race I entered, I was in the light series, but again, you had Deegan, you had Brian Deegan, Bucky Lasik, Ken Block. You had some just, Arpin, Speed.
Tanner
pretty
Faust.
amazing.
Yeah, all the big names she was up against. And I watched some of the videos too, and she did her thing. It was very impressive, especially, that you went out and you were brand new to it, and you had to go into the ring with all these, huge professional drivers in that series. So I was very impressed.
It was really amazing.
I took a lot of inspiration. There's a lot that a lot of people don't really know with this podcast, and with you being a guest. It's been very special for me because I grew up and auto racing was my sole passion from day one. From the minute I laid eyes on it, that's what I was born and bred to do. And obviously racing is not a cheap sport, and I grew up in a middle class family with a lot of siblings and married father and stuff. So I wasn't able to continue racing, pretty much once I became an adult. And for a long time, I had kind of lost a lot of hope that I would actually ever end up in auto racing again. And I have to say, like, it's been really nice to be able to talk to people like Tom with Warriors on Track. And then that led me to you. And now I'm talking to, professional race car drivers. And your story gives me hope because it shows that I can actually go out and achieve certain things within my own business to get myself to where one day I can race again. And so that's been very special for me. So I just had to kind of let that out there. And it's been very special to have you on the show as well. I do want to ask you one other thing. What are your plans? So I mentioned in episode 18, I was talking a lot about just the times we're in, all these changes with technology and, the industrial revolution that I guess we're in, what are you looking at as far as continuing to innovate within your company? for, the future? Like, are you looking into more, or are you looking to just break through some of the industries that aren't as receptive to bamboo yet?
Well, no, I'm looking to innovate, and it takes time to sort through the things that might be the kinds of innovations that companies would adopt. And for instance, I just invented, essentially innovated on a lid for the coffee or the food beverage industry that is now 100% bamboo. One of the things we find in our plastic waste stream are all these plastic lids. And so the lid itself, to me, applies everything I've tried to do with the fiber, and creates now a 100% fiber-based lid that has no chemicals, no plastic coatings, and I think is a game changer with respect to the reduction of the plastic waste stream in the environment. So those are the kinds of things that, even though I began, looking at bamboo for forestry, and I still drive to that end because I think ultimately that's the end goal. Things like this new lid are really game changing in terms of the industry and what they present to their consumers. So those are the kinds of things that I keep driving towards.
That's exciting stuff. That's why I asked, because innovation excites me. I would assume it probably does for you too. Just because, like you said, there are so many unknowns. The market will just go wherever it wants, and I think trying to discover where that's going to be is sort of the drive. At least I know for me, starting this media company, that's been my drive wholeheartedly. Is I have no intentions to be your standard media company today. I'm looking at what my media company will be in 20 and 30 years and how it's going to be innovative. So I always have to ask, anybody that started their own company, I'm always wondering what their forward thoughts are. And so, thank you on that.
Well, and you have to, look, companies are, it's not a drag race. It's not a straight shot, right?
Right.
It's, if anything, it's probably, it's a very, very difficult winding road. And, the notion that you're looking out in front like that, Kyle, is really important, because that's sort of what you have to do. You have to be able to see above, and beyond the moment you're in to keep achieving, great things going forward.
And trusting the process wholeheartedly, I think.
Exactly.
If you ever noticed, the logo that I created for Hartman Media is a mountain. And it was funny because I initially just chose that logo because I was out in California. I just moved here. I was inspired just by how beautiful it is. And over time, I realized that mountain has so much more significance because, I'm at the very base of that mountain right now with that company. And, I'm just keeping that mountain vision. I'm slowly going to climb, each day, just get a little bit closer to the top of that. And it works, I think. So it's very exciting.
Well, added to that, I think most of us, I think it's so great. And I've noticed your logo, and it's something I talk about a lot because, in this day and age where we receive things the next day from Amazon, when it comes to achievement, the mountain still exists. In other words,
yes,
we have to climb the mountain one step at a time. It's sort of an exploration, if you will. Sometimes it's amazing, but oftentimes it's hard, but you got to keep climbing. And I think a lot of people today just don't recognize that because everything's so instant. So it's so important, whether you're hitting the bottom or the top, you still have to put the time and the work in and really, believe in that and believe that, you're going to get to the top, stick your flag in the ground and do some celebrating at some point, right? And there are different mountains in your life. So it's a cool analogy. I love that you have that.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with everything you just said wholeheartedly. I think that I'm a prime example of somebody who sort of cheated themselves in their younger adulthood, I think. And, I thought I knew what it took to be successful. But it wasn't until I really started self-checking myself, or, checking myself, that I realized, I wasn't actually putting in the work I think that my wishes required. And a lot of what I'm going to talk about in my book touches on rock bottom. What is your opinion of rock bottom? Do you think that has something to do with figuring those things out in life?
Well, I've been there many times, and in many ways that are profound. And there's, today with social media, there's so many, postings and achievement postings and support postings,
yeah, and
meme postings. But at the end of the day, really what you have is you.
Yeah.
And it's really important to just have that basic belief in yourself, and not take things personally when things are that bad, because that just lowers your self-esteem.
Right.
And really, focus on, I personally would, and I still do, I wake up in the morning and I focus on what is positive about all the things around me, because I think, like you or anyone, when you're that low, it's really easy to focus on why you're that low, right?
Exactly.
So I'm not saying anything illuminative, but I'm saying, you can and will overcome it, because that's just the rule of the universe. And I love that. And, there's no accident. So the great thing is you can sort of realize that, as bummer as the moment is, there's something really great around the corner. And it usually is true.
I love that. Gratitude and just keeping that tunnel vision on whatever it is you're trying to achieve. We have about a minute and a half left. That was an amazing episode. I always ask the guests every show if they live by a quote. Jackie's was pretty freaking awesome. What is it?
No guts, no glory.
No guts, no glory. If you guys don't know what that means, I would encourage you to check out Jackie's story, and I guarantee you'll find out what it means. Such an inspiration. Jackie, it was one of my goals to get some more women on my show. I was looking at my YouTube analytics, and I don't have very many women viewers yet, so I'm going to push this out. I hope that this inspires not only women, but anybody out there. Whether your dreams are to become a biotech CEO, or maybe you want to race Lamborghinis, find out how to do it here. Find out how to do it on Jackie's website. She's an amazing inspiration, so be sure to follow her and show her some of the Kyle Hartman Project love that we all know you guys have. Jackie, thank you so much for spending your Saturday morning with me. I've just been so thankful ever since I found out you were coming on the show, so I can't thank you enough.
Oh, Kyle, thank you. It's been really great talking with you. You, too, are an inspiration.
Thank you so much. I look forward to going racing with you sometime in the future. And, we'll have to show everybody the fun times. And, we'll go from there. Have a wonderful Saturday. Everybody out there, thank you so much for coming back to the Kyle Hartman Project. Enjoy the rest of your weekends and keep crushing it this 2018. We'll see you next week.
Backpack Boy production.